Hey, you guys. I see all of y'all popping in. We still have about 3 minutes before we're starting. I know it might be kind of quiet, but you're in the right spot. Hey, guys, we still have about 1 more minute or so. A few people are still popping in, so just hang tight.
Okay.
Good morning. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, hi. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
It is 11:02, and I know that we still have some folks that are joining in the session with us, which is totally fine. I'm gonna do just kind of my housekeeping spiel right now, and then we'll kind of jump in and get started. There are 36 and probably still a couple of more folks that are going to join us. I did mute everybody for our time together today. The chat feature is on. And so we are going to use the chat to both help with questions that you might have and also sharing of ideas. And so we're really going to talk about Flipgrid. Maybe hopefully you're the regular user. Yay, love Flipgrid. And so what we're going to look at today are what are the other features inside Flipgrid that are totally worth exploring and integrating into our classroom and using with our kiddos. For those, I think I know everybody here, but maybe not, because I know that this session is open to everybody. My name is Janet Winninghoff. I am one of the middle school academic technology coaches, and I'm going to be driving our presentation today. I also have one of the other middle school coaches here, Jeanette Campbell, and she is going to help facilitate the chat today. So as you're posting questions and asking things, putting ideas out there, Jeanette's already said hello in the chat. Yay! Yay. So she's going to answer everything there, and if we need to stop or look at something in more depth, she'll unmute and she'll kind of let me know. Jeanette, you want to say hey?
Hi, everyone. Great to see you. Hey, Mr. Smurr. It's going to be a great session. I'm looking forward to it also. I'm going to learn some stuff.
I feel like maybe some of you guys are like the more proficient users and you're like, oh, yes, I already use that. So make sure if you are already using some of the things that we're looking at, that you're chiming in that chat and you're sharing the ways in which you're using some of these tools.
Yes, Janet, you know what I wanted to mention to you at NEV, the
Yes.
choir teacher is going to do like mass singer. Isn't that a cool idea? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward, right? Smur's like, yes, I know. Super creative.
Oh my gosh,
so,
I want to do the mass singer, except nobody wants me to sing because it's not good. So I know Ms. Rogers is in here, Halo from Rollinson, and I know she's done some of the screen stuff, and so I hope that she will share some of those things. So again, because this is a little bit more of a, hey, I'm already using this tool, here's how I might go a little deeper with that. Make sure you're both asking those questions and you're sharing ideas, because I think there's a lot of good stuff already out there. Okay, so we are recording today's session, and I will make the recording available to you after the session. So if you're wanting to just sit back and watch, you can do that. If you want to take notes, you can do that. You'll get all the things. At the end of our time together today, I will post a link to a Google form for attendance. That helps me kind of gauge how many folks are coming to sessions, which is useful information. And then also it captures your email address, and that's how I send you all of the resources afterwards. So I am going to use a slideshow today, but I'm actually going to pull out of present mode because I have some things that are linked up here. I will share my slideshow with you as well. And so you'll get all of those links. But again, it's important that you complete the attendance form at the end of our time together today. So for today, what's learned here leaves here, all of the links, the session recording. If you have other folks on your campus that you want to share all of this information with, please feel free to share those things that you're learning today. If you see something here today and you're like, oh, I'm going to need some more support to do that, or maybe I'm going to try this out and I want to reflect on how that looked or how that worked for my kids. You know, your academic technology coach is happy to do all those things. We'll talk more about that later. So what's learned here leaves here. Links are in the speaker notes. You'll kind of see that on my screen. Like I said, I'm not going to be in present mode. I'm going to be just in this kind of build mode, and you're going to see all of those on my screen. You will get the slideshow after the presentation today. And like I mentioned earlier, make sure to share ideas in the chat and also ask questions. So X marks the spot, and we're ready to get started. So I think a lot of you are excited or had messaged me on the back end or had, mentioned, hey, I'm really excited to see that session because I'm interested in the flip hunt. And so Jeanette too, if you have anything you want to chat about, because I think that you probably have more experience than me with the flip hunt piece. So what we're looking at in Flipgrid today is we know how to navigate the basic controls. We know how to set up the classes, that a grid is a class, that a topic is an assignment. We're not going to look at those basic features today. What we're looking at is how do we leverage that tool that we're already familiar with for good instructional practice. So one of the ways that you can do that is through a flip hunt. So essentially you are creating a video scavenger hunt of sorts, and we'll talk about the different ways you might set that up. You want to make sure that you start with your learning objectives or your TEKs, because that's going to help you identify what you're going to put into your scavenger hunt. And I'll show you some sample ones in just a second. I will say in the flip hunt, the samples I'm going to show you in just a second, the task, there's like a lot of them. So a couple of things to keep in mind. We're not in a face-to-face classroom. So your kids are going to be kind of managing their work and their tech pieces by themselves. So keep your scavenger hunt small, especially to start with. Set them up for success. So when I show you these samples in just a second, I honestly would probably limit it to like 3 tasks. Okay, so I'm going to show you the samples, and then we'll come back here and we'll talk about the most common way you might set this up inside of Flipgrid. So I'm going to make that smaller so you can see those links. So the first flip hunt, and remember, a flip hunt is just an online scavenger hunt. So this geometry teacher set up a flip hunt, and she actually leveled her activities. And so the green are the easiest, and then the red are the most challenging. But like I mentioned earlier, that is a lot of activities, right? And so we want to make sure that we are setting our kids up for success. If you have many activities, you might say, hey, pick 1 green, 1 yellow, 1 red, or you might just give them 3 and say, here are the 3 things that you are doing. So the idea behind the flip hunt is you are sending kids out into the real world, which is probably their house right now, and you're having them identify the things that you are studying that are in their house. So, take a video or a video yourself with a symmetrical quadrilateral. There you go. That's a mouthful. Okay, so you can see they're obviously looking at those geometry shapes. And then the yellow one, it gets a little bit harder. And so we're going to find a triangular prism and count its vertices as you touch them. And again, they're going to be recording themselves either by these things or maybe holding or showing these things. And they're going to record themselves in Flipgrid. So you can see that's like a lot. And remember, I mentioned the samples were kind of heavy. Let's look at the other sample. It is a science one. So this one, a teacher developed on the skeletal system. And so what she has is just activities that she wants the kids to do as they are recording themselves. Wiggle your phalanges. Sing and act out head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So you want them to sing the song and the video. And so they're doing all of these things as they are recording themselves. And so you can see, like I mentioned, that's a lot there. I think if you're asking the kids to do the activities, you can probably layer a few more. If you're wanting them to actually go out and find things in their environment, I would probably recommend keeping that list smaller. Okay, so I'm going to jump back over here. And let's talk about how would you set this up in the grid. So the most common question that I read is, will students make one long video and press the pause button, or will each task be a separate video? And so I don't think that there is a right or a wrong. I think you're going to think about, how do I want this to look on the back end of things? Do I want the kids to see all of the videos and they're just watching whole videos at a time? Am I giving them tasks that they can complete in one recording? Those are the things that I would ask myself. I think I would just think about it beforehand and then build accordingly. Okay, so when you're building your flip hunt, which we're going to jump over into Flipgrid in just a second, and I am going to start building. You want to make sure that you identify the tasks that you want them to complete, and that you reflect on how much time it's going to take the students to complete this. You want to make sure that you share the checklist. I'll show you how you can share it inside Flipgrid. You may also want to share it in Google Classroom as a materials post or as part of the assignment, just so that they have that list to refer to and they're not struggling with that. And so with all of that said, let's say I'm going to jump over to Flipgrid. Sorry, that my screen is, here we go. So I'm going to show you one thing and then I'm going to start building. Super cool. Okay, so again, you probably already have all of your grids here. And so you're going to decide, once I go into my classroom, am I going to make one topic that is just the flip hunt activity in itself? Or am I going to have a topic for each task I want my kids to complete? And I read a lot of like different blog posts on it. I looked at it on Twitter. If you're wanting to see what other people are doing with flip hunts, you can search for them on Twitter, just hashtag flip hunt. It looks like people are doing a little bit of both. So if I were going to do it as just a topic, I would say flip hunt for geometric shapes. Again, we talked a little bit about, reflecting on the amount of time you think it is going to take the kids to complete the task, but also how much time are they going to need for recording. If you're having them complete all of the tasks in the scavenger hunt in one recording, you're probably going to want to leave it maybe here at the 1 minute and 30 seconds. But if you're using topics for each task, you're probably going to want to shorten that up. Okay? All right. Prompt, refer to the scavenger hunt list, record your tasks. Okay, so remember, you can attach that document if you need to. You could upload that document as an image that they could refer to. You can record yourself talking about it, kind of all of the good things you're already familiar with. So let's say I'm going to create my topic. And then I would do what I always do. I would hit that little share button and all of the good stuff. So I would like to, I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to Flipgrid, no, I'm going to say flip hunt. So this is here inside of Flipgrid. And this is kind of all of the information that they have put together about what makes a good Flipgrid. So I'm going to paste this, or not a good Flipgrid, a good flip hunt. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste that link inside of here. so that you have that to kind of come back to later. So she talks about all of the questions that you have. It is a scavenger hunt. You're wanting to engage your kiddos. Where do you start? We always want to make sure that we're starting with the objectives and that we're connecting it to the environment that they are already in. She talks about the importance of making sure that you create that document with all of the scavenger hunt activities. And then she even discusses also this, is it one grid or is it different topics? Again, that's probably going to be a personal preference. So whatever your gut says, I would go with it. If you want help building that inside of Flipgrid, your coach wants to help you kind of put all of your ideas together. And then here in this blog post, she also has just some best bets that she has found in doing this with her students. I will say this, I read through it last night, and it's very much from the perspective of she is doing the flip hunt in a face-to-face situation. So just kind of keep those things in mind, that less is more, and that you want to make sure that your kiddos are going to be successful and engage with you in a flip hunt. All right, I'm going to jump over to the chat and see if anybody has any questions before I go to the next idea. Oh, yay.
Yeah,
Hey, Miss
we're all
Nicola,
good here.
a lot for
Yeah.
math too. Jeanette, what were you saying?
It looks like we're all good. We've got everybody captive audience. Just, yay.
Okay. All right. So kind of next idea is the Flipgrid shorts. And it is just what you think it is. It is a short video clip that you can make inside of Flipgrid, and you're not making it with the intent of the kids responding to you. It is just a short little video. You can do it for a mini lesson. Maybe you're reading a short story. Maybe you're modeling a little concept. You can also use it to screen record yourself discussing your content or specific directions. And it doesn't have to launch into a grid or a topic. And I'm going to show it to you in just a second. The benefit of, I guess, using the Flipgrid platform to record the shorts, which we'll see in just a second, you still have kind of all of the bells and whistles. So you have the filters, you have the stickers, you have, you know, the whiteboard if you want it. And the great thing is you can grab the link to the short and you could post that link to the short in your Google Classroom and they can just play it. So let's look at it. I'm going to jump back over to Flipgrid. And you're going to notice I'm just here in the My Grids. I'm in the main dashboard. And so there is a lot of stuff up here at the top. And today we're actually going to talk about shorts, and we're also going to talk about mix tapes, which are super cute. Okay, shorts. I'm going to click on it. And then it's going to say, do you want to record a short? I don't know what's going to happen here because I am presenting. Oh, look, it is going to let me. Yay! And I think you guys are seeing it on the screen. You are. I'm going to say allow. It is. It's not liking it so much, right? Because I am presenting in this moment. So in just a second, I'm going to bring up another screen view. Give me 1 second and I'm going to bring up my other screen. Hang tight. Talk amongst yourself. I think the topic is, how are you engaging your students in distance learning? Do you guys remember that from Saturday Night Live? And they had the skit, the lady on there, and she'd be like, and the topic is, and she put it out there. So cute. Okay. I'm going to mirror my Chromebook for you guys in just a second so you can see this. Thank you for your patience. Sorry, you guys, I have the Chrome extension installed on my Chromebook, and for some reason, it has disappeared. All right, got it. 917. Okay, so you guys should see my other device's screen up on the computer right now. Jeanette, if you guys don't see that, if you would just let me know. Uh-oh. And it dropped. Technology is super awesome, right, you guys? Unless it's not
Yes.
working. So let me see if I can get it to come back. Jeanette, can you guys see that?
I can see your mirroring screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now it's going to jump over to Flipgrid.
Yes.
Cool.
We're there.
Okay. Y'all let me know if that drops. Okay. So I'm showing you my other device. So now it's going to let me show you all of the good stuff in Shorts, which you're probably already totally familiar with. So I'm logging in. And so I'm going to jump over to that Shorts button that I mentioned just a second ago, and I'm going to hit record a short. Yes, please. Allow. And so, hi, now you're seeing me like screen and screen. That's a little weird, right? Okay, maybe weirder for me because I'm kind of seeing myself in two places. So the great thing about recording the short here in Flipgrid is I'm still going to have all of the tools here at the bottom to make my recording. So I can jump over here and I can add the sticky note. And it'll post. If I want to add my filters, I can. This looks just like when I'm recording for my kids. I can also put text boxes on my screen if I need to. Come back. If I want to jump down here and I would like to grab my whiteboard, and then I will have my pencil or my pen. And then I can write right on top of my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on my record button. It's going to give me the countdown like it always does. And remember, I'm recording myself and I'm having all of my features. I can annotate on my screen. I can give a mini lesson. I could be reading a book to my kids. I can be giving them specific instructions. I could just be saying, hey, and I can bring in images over here. I could bring in my stickers that I love. So like I said, there's a lot of places that you can record. If you're using Screencastify, you might be using Loom. You can do a lot of things. But you can also do it here in Flipgrid, which if you're already using it, I love a one-stop shop. I'm gonna pause it. And then I'm gonna tell this, please slide away so I can hit next. And then we're gonna pretend I love it and it's the best video I ever shot. I need a selfie. It's gonna think for a second. So now I have my little short video, right? Super cute. And when I click it, it gives me this link and then I can copy it, and I could jump over to Google Classroom. I could paste it there. If I needed to put this inside of assignment, I could paste the link in the assignment, the slideshow, all the things that I am pretty used to seeing. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that screen just for a second, and that is Flipgrid Shorts. Yay, love it. Okay, so let's talk about mix tapes. Mix tapes, not just for the 80s. It is a way that you can pull videos that are across a variety of topics from any of your grids, and you can make like a highlight reel. So if you wanted to string together kind of like a best of, or if you wanted to pull things from a flip hunt, no matter where they live, and make a condensed product, you can. I also like the idea of using the mixed tapes feature for like a student portfolio. If you're needing to kind of track a student's listening and speaking progress over time, mixed tapes is just an easy way to do that inside of Flipgrid. So I'm going to jump over to Flipgrid and we'll look at that. So you're going to notice I'm back up here at the top of my screen, and there is the mix tapes option. So the first thing you have to do is you have to add or name the mix tape. So if it is a student portfolio, and again, you're going to have control on this, students aren't going to just happen upon it. Student portfolio, and then it might be for Jenny Smith. Okay. Now I can put a description here that kind of captures, maybe it's progress for the 2020 school year, or maybe it's a highlight reel of activities that you have done. Password protection, I would, and then password is whatever you want to make it. My favorite password right now is just like our password for the session today, Northside, and I'm going to say create the mixtape. And it's going to think for just a second, and then hopefully it's going to make my mixtape. Uh-oh, doesn't like my password. Okay, I'm going to turn the passwords off. Here we go. So this is my mixtape, and I've made my portfolio, but here's where the magic happens. Now I'm going to jump over to my grids. And let's say I'm going to come here and I want to make sure I click on not the student view, but the teacher view. And this is my grid. And then here are my assignments. So let's say I'm going to click on that. And it's going to give me like all of my videos, right? So I'm going to come over here to actions. And I'm going to say, yes, I would like to add that to the mixtape. It will give me the pop-up, and it's going to show me all of the mixed tapes that are available. So let's say that's a student portfolio. I'm going to add, cool, got it. So let's say I'm going to add one more to the mixtape, and then we're going to jump back to the mixtape, and I'll show it to you. And so again, I don't have to pull all of those videos from the same place. It doesn't have to be from the same grid. I could go all the way back to grids, and I could totally jump over to another recording. Let's say that I want to come here. And I want to send, oh, look, that's a video of me. Yay. I'm going to click it. And then let's say I'm going to send this one to the mixtape as well. Got it. Okay, so now I can go back up here to the mixtapes, and I can click on that student portfolio. And you're going to notice I'm going to have all of those videos, even though they are different topics, even though they are in different grids, in one place. And then if I want to share this link, maybe with an admin, maybe with another teacher that provides me for, or with support, whatever the content is, however you want to share it, you're just going to hit that copy. and it's going to give you that link, and that's what you can share out with others, and then they can come in and view your videos, and it just gives you the power to curate that content to be really targeted and specific. Mixtapes. Anything else anybody needs me to show on mixtapes before we? Yeah. Okay, looks like you guys are good. All right, I'm gonna jump back over to the slideshow. Okay, we're moving kind of fast today. This is so awesome.
Okay, so we do have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Can you arrange them in a different order?
I believe you can arrange
So,
them in a different order.
like,
Go ahead.
do you have like 3 different videos? Do you have to click them in the right order? So like if I want to do for my ELs, you know, I want their first speaking from the beginning of the year and then the second 6 weeks and third weeks. So is there a way I can get them in order so when I listen to it, I can see that progress?
Yes, so Emily, if you look on my screen right now, you'll see like I'm in the mixtape right now. And over here on the far right, I have like that crosshair. And if I just grab that with my mouse,
okay.
It's letting me reorder these in whatever order I want.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Good question. Okay. So let's talk about recordings and features, and we're going to talk specifically about the screen in screen. And I feel like I'm a novice for this, and I know, Halo, you have definitely more experience than I do. So if I miss the mark on anything, let me know, or if you want to chime in and chat about the assignment that you posted out there for your kids with the screen in screen recording. Yay, super exciting. Okay, so let's say I'm coming over here to my grids, and I'm going to jump into, where's my distance learning? Perfect. So let's say I'm jumping here. So when we video record, the video recording options we have for ourselves are just like the video recording options that our kids have. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. I'm going to add a new topic, and I'm going to say sample recording. And then I'm going to click on this record a video option. So this looks totally like the shorts, right? Because it is. The difference is this resource that I'm producing is going to be something that my students watch and then respond to. So I have all of kind of the bells and whistles that I'm used to. This is the filters, text boxes that I can put live on my screen that can surround me if I need them to. Stickers, I know a lot of our kiddos are shy, and so they're hesitant, and they either do stickers or they also like this filter all the way at the end, and it will pixelize the screen. So you're still seeing them, you're still kind of getting the animations of them talking, especially if they like their hands when they talk like me. But again, they're not seeing like their face, and sometimes this just takes the edge off a little bit. So I'm gonna turn off that filter. Stickers, the annotate button works right up here on the screen. It annotates live. And so they can either annotate on top of themselves, or they can click one over and click the board, and they can either make a black screen that they can write on, or they can make a whiteboard that they can write on, or they can just turn that off. Again, whatever they're most comfortable with. Look, those annotations stay though. But what I'm excited to show you and what I've learned from Ms. Rogers is that there is now a new feature that is in beta here in Flipgrid. And when I click the 3 dots and it tells me video options, I'm now going to see that screen recording in beta. So I can bring in another video clip from somewhere, or my kids, and this is really where I think the power is. My kids can also screen record their desktop. So maybe they have put together a slideshow or a Google Doc or a presentation, and they're wanting to present that to you, to talk you through it. So they can start that screen recording, and you're gonna see screen recording, screen and screen. So I'm down here, you're seeing my webcam. And then I'm also going to turn it on so that you see my screen. So again, then your kiddos, if they have something in Drive that they want to present, they could pull that up, and you probably want them to have it ready to go. I think that's one of the directions that Halo had given to her kids. And so let's say I'm going to go to, actually, I'm going to come over here. Oh, okay, it doesn't want to do it. Super cool. I'm having all kinds of like techie little glitches today. Let's say drive.google.com. Well, this is taking forever. So in theory, your kids would be kind of talking through their slideshow. They could be advancing the slide. They can go into present mode, and it will give them both the slide in the view out there. I don't know. Okay, I think it's this way. And then also the video in video. And so you're going to notice, then I'm going to jump back to my Flipgrid button, and I'm going to say stop recording. And so it's going to start that recording of that whole situation that I just did. Uh-oh, are you guys seeing this? I think it just dropped. Give me 1 second. I'm going to come back over. I'm coming back, I promise. Yay, it's back. Okay, so I'm in my Flipgrid view. And so I've done my little screen and screen presentation that your kids can do. And remember, Flipgrid has upped the limit of time now. It used to be a 5-minute limit on videos, and right now we're at a 10-minute limit on videos. So if you have any end projects that you're needing your kids to present or to share, or if they're working through something and you want them to explain their thinking, they can now use that screen share option to share that with you. They still want the thumbnail. And then I'm going to say next. I'm just thinking. And it's complete. So again, I recorded that as a teacher in a focus, but our kids are going to have all of the same options when they go to record. Okay. Yay. Okay. So we talked about, both for the students, they have that screen and screen option, which is really nice. They have the filters. So if you have those kiddos that are still that camera shy piece, make sure you're chatting with them about the filters, especially the little pixelizer, which is very helpful. They can also put up the whiteboard if they want to, even if they don't want to annotate on their screen, even if it just takes the pressure off of having their face on camera. From the teacher side, it can be super helpful to record your directions or to just give them that familiar face and that check in with them. So any questions? I'm going to jump over to the chat and see if there's anything. Yay, I'm glad you love it. Yes, they can present without being in front of the class. Yes, I think that this is powerful both for the face-to-face classroom and then also powerful in our distance learning classroom as well. Is there a tutorial video that shows kids what they can do, such as what I'm showing you right now? There is not. I think you guys, I would be happy if you would like to collaborate on making one for your kiddos. I think there would be a lot of power in having you guys make a little tutorial video. They'll hear it in your voice, And again, it just kind of drives that home for them. So if that's something you want to work on, definitely reach out to your coach and we can get that going for you guys. All right. That's like a lot of stuff in 42 minutes, but I feel like that went really fast. So we talked about flip hunts and how it is a virtual scavenger hunt. And the meat and potatoes of that comes when you put together that document that is the activities that you want them to do that is related to your content. If it is an assignment, or if it's just like a check-in piece, then it might be just some fun things that you want them to reflect on. And again, think about how you're gonna set up that flip hunt. Is it going to be one long video, or are you going to have topics for each activity that they're going to do? And if you want some support on building your flip hunt, your coach is happy to support you in that and collaborate on that with you. We talked about Flipgrid shorts, which are just, it is using the tools that are already inside of Flipgrid to make those quick little videos. I know a lot of us are using Loom or Screencastify or a lot of other platforms. I just want you to know that that capability also lives inside Flipgrid. So if you're looking for kind of one-stop shop, it is one-stop shop. We talked about those mixed tapes and it being just a way that you are making a highlight reel or you're curating videos. And I think the possibilities on that are endless. It's just so great that you can push those things together, get one link, and then be able to share that with others, whether it's your kids, other teachers on your campus, your admin, or all of the above. And then the last thing we talked about is those last thing we talked about were the screen recording features, and specifically the screen recording that is in beta. And so it means it's new, and it means it might be a little glitchy at times. It might not work just like you want it to, but I think it's a lot of bang for your buck. Okay, is there a way to share the normal video from Flipgrid where they can respond to you to share with the class? Or would I have to record it for each class? Tammy, are you talking about maybe your short?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So I set up just the normal, because I had no clue what I was doing. Set up normal Flipgrid.
Yeah.
I gave them, I wanted them to do like an SSR review on their book.
Okay.
So I gave them an example of my book, but I want them to be able to like respond to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have to do an individual recording for each class that I set up? Or is there a way of sharing that? Because I recorded it all different times and each of them were different, even though it was
This is such a good question. And I think I'm not sure is my response.
So when
Anybody
you
else?
duplicate, if you duplicate, does it take what's already in there and duplicate it too?
I don't know. I'm going to go to one. And let's say, like, this is my topic. I think you're right, Jeanette. I think if I duplicate the topic before I have any student, so I'm going to duplicate topic.
I think it does, because we did that before. Kendall and I did that. We made the video to introduce it, and I asked her, I was like, I don't want to make it again and again, but if you duplicate it, it will pull over your video to all the different classes.
Yeah, and if you look on this, Tammy, when I did that, let me back up one so you can see where I'm at. So I'm here in my going the distance grid. So this would be like my first period, my second period, my third period. And then these are my topics. So those are my assignments. And so I can actually come over here. I've already built out the whole assignment. I've made the video of my recording of myself, you know, doing my little book talk. And then before my students start responding, I'm going to hit duplicate topic. I'm going to say, I want to save it to my second period. And then I want to, the topic, none of the responses or replies. And then I'll hit duplicate. So I think that's, thanks, Emily. Thank you, Tammy. That was a good question.
Let's see, Monica, you want to unmute and ask some of your questions?
Okay, hi.
Hi.
For the flip hunt,
Mhm.
Is that just a fancy tab? Because could you still just use a record for Flipgrid and transform that into a hunt? Or is it because the hunt has, I guess, broken down? Is it like kind of like condensed to like 3 tasks, or I'm kind of confused about that? Because couldn't you
Sure.
still use just a record and call that a flip hunt?
So like
What's
a
the
flip hunt, and Jeanette too, if you want to chime in, because I know you've chatted with some other teachers about this, a flip hunt is just a digital scavenger hunt. So you're either asking them to reflect on some targeted things. I think a lot of times when we build Flipgrids, we're asking them to reflect on kind of one targeted thing. And maybe you're asking them to either reflect on many things, or you're asking them to go and find things and bring it into the recording. Okay.
Okay.
And so the meat and potatoes is really the scavenger hunt list. And so like I showcased that check boxes one.
Yes.
And so like I know that this is a science one, but ELA, right?
Right. For
Yes.
ELA.
Yeah. So like if you were doing this like with your novel study or something like this, you might have like your kiddos, maybe in your flip hunt, you're going to have them, you know, cite a passage where the author uses foreshadowing. And then you're going to say, you know, find a quote where that features strong characterization. And so then you're going to have the kid, you know, they have those 2 or 3 or 4 tasks, and that's what they're going to record themselves doing. So it's a way to just have a layered activity. Now, inside the Flipgrid, I think the real meat and potatoes of it, and anybody else is free to chime in and say, I think something different. You might have the flips, instead of being a whole assignment, maybe you'll have a topic that is foreshadowing. And so every kid is going to go to that foreshadowing, and they're going to cite an example of foreshadowing in their book. And then maybe you're going to have another topic that is on, you know, tone or mood or whatever else, and they're all going to land there. And so if you look at this post, sorry, I clicked off of that. She really talks through it and gives you like a lot of examples, and she talks about how she's done this probably better than I can in just our time together. And so again, you're going to get all of these links, and then if you feel like I want to really kind of tease through this and build something out, again, like your coach, I think I'm your coach, but for everybody else out there, you know, that's something that your coach wants to collaborate on you with for sure.
Yeah.
And
I think
then
the most successful.
okay. If you want to unmute yourself, feel free. It is a fancy title, Tammy. You're right.
I just wanted to say the most successful ones that I've done with that kids had the most success with is that the hunt is multiple topics. So when they get to their grid, there's like a little down delta. They can see all of their questions basically, or the stuff they're hunting for. And they could really do it in any order that they want. It's just that they're going to go to that topic, record a little video with where they found whatever you were asking them to find. So
I did have a question about the multiple grids. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I have a lot of ESL and special ed students in my class, and so far we've had amazing feedback using Flipgrid. However, I have not created, I've kept the same grid, but just deleted some of the videos so we'd have the same code.
Okay.
Because many of my kids with all these different codes, and they're like, what's the password? They don't ever go to Google Classroom and actually look at the material. They just like to go directly to Flipgrid, and then they're stuck saying, what do I do? Yeah, and so I get like tons and tons of emails and texts and messages saying, what's the code? And I try to embed in them, please go to the announcement section in Google Classroom. So my question is, anybody that has Collab, ESL, or just kids that are not really good with navigating, do you use, obviously you showed multiple topics, which I would like to sometimes use.
Yeah.
And I love that you have user-friendly codes. But right now, I've just been using MathSip. This is the same one all the time. We will have a new topic during this time. That way they know the one code. And I always tell them when I update the topic, or they'll notice it when they go. But I want to slowly navigate to having two.
So I want to show you, like, if you're watching my screen right now, you can see like I have several topics there right now. So if you're wanting to keep this kind of clean and tight for your student view, you can always come over here to that active button. And if it's not something they're doing right now, you could just say hidden. And that means when your kids use that flip code and they see kind of the whole thing at a glance, that's no longer going to be visible to them.
Can you use the same code?
Yes.
Okay.
See up here, like I'm in my grid. So essentially Flipgrid will generate two different codes. It generates a grid code, which this is the grid code right here. I set mine to be custom. And then it also will generate the code that is for that specific topic. So Jennifer, it sounds like you're using the grid code, which you can totally do.
Yeah.
And then your kids will use that same grid code all of the time. And then from the management side, you can just come here and you can, if this is the only thing you want them to see, then you'll just leave that one active.
Okay, so I have to talk through it to make sure I understood you correctly.
Yeah.
So all my kids know how to get to Flipgrid, my code, MathSip, so they can see all of my topics and I can just hide. And that way they can navigate all my topics, right?
Yeah, so on the hidden,
Okay.
you're just controlling which of the topics in the grid you want them to see in that moment.
Amazing.
And then
totally
over
didn't
here
know that.
on the far right of the screen, there's like that little crosshair. And again, you can use the crosshair anytime to reorder things. So if you're like, hey, start with the one at the top, you can control which one is at the top.
Oh, I always thought that, I guess after looking at other people's talking about codes, I always thought each topic or each grid had its own personal code.
It does.
So,
it just depends on what you're sharing with your kid.
Okay,
And you can share either.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. If there are any other questions, if you guys feel free to unmute yourself, but I'm also, while you're doing that and maybe asking a question, I'm going to go grab our form for attendance today. Anybody really excited to share about maybe something they're going to try right away? Halo, I don't know if you want to, if you're still here, if you want to chime in and talk about how it went this week with your kiddos doing the screen and screen recording.
I put in the chat box some examples. They did a really good job. A few of them, I had to help them out one-on-one during academic coaching, but most of them got it. These kids are better with technology than we are. But I did share a little tip. I like to share out the links, and I only share out the link to my topic. So my kids never have to put a code in, and it takes them straight to the assignment. If I share out the grid, I feel like they might do the wrong topic, or right now I think less complicated is better.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a case, whatever. Yes, I agree. Okay, so in the chat, I dropped a link, but y'all, it's not a hyperlink. It just says for me, HTTPS. What you have to do is you have to copy that whole little sequence and then paste it in your web browser. And that is going to open up the form that you're seeing on my screen right now. And that's what we're going to use for attendance today. And it is going to capture your email address so that I can send you the recording today, my slideshow with all of the links and all of the good stuff. So Deborah says that she likes the idea of having the same code and hiding things. If they need to make up work, how would they do that? Yes. So, or can I? I think you can still, even Deborah, when the link is hidden. Like, let's say I have, this is going to be hidden, but I still have, 3 kiddos that I know need to record this specific thing. What I would actually do is I would go to the share button. I would copy that link, and then I would jump over to Google Classroom. Oh, that is my sample class. Yay. So I would post like a little assignment because I know that, I have 3 kiddos that still need to do it. Reminder to complete your video. And then I would add the link. And then what I would do is come over here. Sorry, that's my way. And I would, instead of posting it for all students, let's say I know just Jacqueline needs to do that recording, I'm going to assign it just to her, and it will assign. And so that's going to give that specific student that specific link that they can click in Google Classroom and then follow out to do the recording. I hope that answers that question.
I have one more question for the
Sure.
So this week, no one was, well, on my campus, we were not taking, no assignments were graded.
Yes.
So starting this 6 weeks, I guess we're taking grades.
Yes.
So I see that there's a rubric. How are others grading the activity? Are you letting them do an alternate, like scavenger hunt? Are you going to let them maybe take a picture of it, upload it on a Google Doc instead for those that are not wanting to use Flipgrid? Like, how are you navigating those waters with kids that don't want to do this?
So I think just what I hear you saying is like kind of giving them some choice, right? Maybe they don't want to do the Flipgrid recording, and so maybe they just snap their photos and they post them in a doc. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, so something I was thinking was doing the, can I put the copy in the share code onto a Google Doc for Flipgrid, and then letting students that don't want to do Flipgrid maybe take a picture or write a reflection of the items that they found in the house?
Yes, it sounds like almost what you're making is like a mini little choice board, and that will totally work.
That way I can give credit for the kids making a video and giving credit to the kids that don't want to make a video. I'm just trying to figure out the best way, because the Flipgrids I've done so far is just for engagement, and they've been really no point value. Out of 160 kids, I've had a bunch view them, but not many. They're kind of hesitant with, because they're kind of scared to put themselves out there right now. So I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to give them credit for their high engagement activities.
I think it's exactly what you said. I think you can link those things up. I don't know if you're familiar with Casey Bell and Shake Up Learning. And those of you who know that I love her are probably laughing right now because I always point people towards her stuff. But she has some really great stuff around designing choice boards, which, Jennifer, it sounds like that's kind of what your vision is. You want them all to demonstrate the same learning, but it could be in different ways. And so she has some really great resources and templates on kind of organizing those things. But it's Casey Bell, and her blog, her website, her podcast is called Shake Up Learning. So it is 12 o'clock. I totally want to honor everybody's time. I know some people have already started to jump out to go to other meetings. I'll hang for another minute or second if anybody else has questions. If not, make sure you do that attendance sheet so I can get you all of the resources. Thank you for your time today. I know a couple of you have asked about when the webinar opportunities, when that kind of bulletin's going to come out. I think you're going to see that on Monday from all of us, from your coach, whoever your coach is. Thank you guys for coming today. I appreciate you a bunch, and have a good one. Have a good weekend. I hope you find time to unplug.